welcome to this week's video. So, I just took a shower. I am in my comfy new PJs because we're going to do some reading today. Welcome to the 6th episode of Speed Dating My TBR. If you are new here, what we do is we take a few books and I read the first I either read the prologue, first chapter, or first 10 pages, whichever comes first, and I decide if these are 4 books that I've taken from that TBR mountain, and I decide if I'm going to put them back on the TBR mountain or if they're going to a new home. So I've got my 4 books here, and I will read the back blurb and the first line from each book as we make our way through. So the first one that I'm going to be testing is Her Mother's Daughter by Marilyn French. Now, I have a brief memory of reading this book years and years ago. I think I must have been like a preteen, or like at least like 12 or so. And I was into, and I'm still so into, those books with like family secrets and like family sagas and that kind of stuff. And this was definitely one of them. And then I think I might have gotten it from the library when I read it because I didn't have it on my keeper shelf. And then at the Evil Day job, I saw it and made all the book noises and grabbed it. And I'm so happy that I have it. And it'll be interesting to sort of go into it again now as an adult and see if I still love it. So let's read the back blurb for Her Mother's Daughter by Marilyn French. A rich and compelling story about 4 generations of magnificent women. Her Mother's Daughter celebrates the love, pride, sacrifice, devotion, and unheralded triumph of all women's lives. In Frances, Belle, Anastasia, and Arden, Marilyn French has realized a stunning family. By turns inspiring and touching, unique and hauntingly familiar, Her Mother's Daughter speaks eloquently to all parents and the children who love them and want to know them as they know themselves. So let's... This was published in 1987. So I was 10 when it came out. So first line reads, "My mother lived to be old, although she always said she would die young." Print is tiny too. Look at that. That is some tiny, tiny print. So let's get into it. Wow, I really like it. I really like the style of it. So in this first chapter, we have the, it's told in first person in this, at least in the first chapter, but I think the POVs of who the first person is will change. But in this first chapter, we have a first person POV, and she's talking about her mother. And we start with a story of when she's young, she finds this envelope from her mother, and it said something like to be opened in the event, like after my death. But of course, she opens it, even though the mother's still alive. And all she finds is a will, because she opens it kind of thinking maybe it'll hide some some secret or something that will like help her maybe sort of like know her mother better, or know like how her mother feels about her more. Because sort of the way that she kind of describes her mother is like she's in awe of her mother, but her mother is a little distant from her and from like really everybody sort of in the family. And so she finds this letter and thinks that it's gonna, you know, give her some insight into like who her mother is. And all it really is her mother's will. And she gets so annoyed that she sets it on fire. And but then like she gets like all panicky and is like, oh, like, you know, this is her will. She's gonna want to know like where it is, and like if I get rid of it, she's gonna know that I'm gonna get in trouble. So she tries to like put it in the toilet, but then like the toilet lid catches fire, and it's this whole thing. And yeah, that was just a really like funny moment. But I like it so far. I really like the style of it, and it's pretty much the first chapter is sort of pretty much her describing her mother and her mother's sort of relation in the family and how everybody kind of defers to her. So I very much like it so far. Yeah, and I definitely want to continue reading. Next we have Judith Gould's Till the End of Time. Now, I have a book of Judith Gould's on my keeper shelf called Sins, and it is one of my favorite books of all time. And it was made into a miniseries in the 80s, I believe, the 80s or 90s, starring Joan Collins from Dynasty. And I adored that book, and I adored that miniseries. I would love to find that miniseries again. I should check Amazon and definitely get it. But then I found this one of the same author, so I thought I'd give it a shot. So let's read the back blurb. As the wife of a successful Wall Street trader, Leonie Corinth could endure the ruthless power games of the Manhattan elite, but not her husband's heartless betrayal. Now left with little but her freedom, she's escaped New York for the breathtaking beauty of the Hudson River Valley and unexpected passion. Sam Nicholson is Leonie's second chance at happiness. He is also a man bound to a secret past, a man haunted by tragedy, a man yearning for a new love just out of reach, a love that could destroy them both, or one that could last till the end of time. She has a few books. I think the first one listed is Sins, though, so I think that was her first novel. And then she has Lovemakers, Dazzle, Never Too Rich, Texas Born, Forever, Too Damn Rich, Second Love Till the End of Time, which was published in 1999. So let's read the first line. For once, Leonie Marie Corinth, who normally paid at least a semblance of attention to the posted speed limits and warning signs, was decidedly not in her usual attentive, organized, even some would say pragmatic, state of mind. have a meet cute in that they meet in a car accident. Small car accident. No, nobody got hurt. But yeah, they hit their cars, and like it doesn't specify that this is the hero Sam, but I'm assuming so, because right away, like there's an attraction, and and it's she's on her way like out of I'm guessing like out of Manhattan, and she's on the road, and just like sort of telling herself to like sort of enjoy the beautiful day, and we're talking about the scenery and all this stuff, and then she is caught completely unaware by this Range Rover and hits the Range Rover, and then she's of course understandably freaking out, and the guy gets out as is like inspecting the damage, but really isn't paying her sort of any attention, just sort of like annoyingly like looking at the damage and stuff, and then all of a sudden he gets a look at her, and then he sort of like perks up, kind of like part of me like wants to be annoyed that like he ignored her until he realized that she was hot, which I could be annoyed at that, or I could just go with it, because like then he was like relatively, nice to her, and she was like, oh, let's exchange, our info for the insurance companies or whatever, and he was like kind of like a little not necessarily overtly like flirting with her, but he was like, oh, like no harm done, like I don't think the insurance companies even need to know about it, and let's just like go on our way and blah blah blah. And yeah, so that's sort of how it starts. It's sort of like nothing sort of like out of the ordinary, not like terribly like draw you in kind of thing, but it's cute. It's a cute beginning, and I'm sort of willing to see sort of like how it continues. It definitely like doesn't grab you the way that like Sins did for me. Like if I was going to recommend a book, like, oh my god, definitely read Sins. But yeah, I like it. I like it, and I'm willing to sort of see kind of where it goes. Next, we have The Help by Catherine Stockett. And I know this is a well-known book. It was made into a movie. Um, I'm sure I think that I've heard like people like complaining about it, and just I'm that kind of stuff sort of like annoys me. But let's just let's read the back blurb and see how we feel about it. Enter a vanished world, Jackson, Mississippi, 1962, where black maids raise white children but aren't trusted not to steal the silver. There's Abilene, raising her 17th white child and nursing the hurt caused by her own son's tragic death. Minnie, whose cooking is nearly as sassy as her tongue, and white Miss Skeeter, home from college, who wants to know why her beloved maid has disappeared. Skeeter, Abilene, and Minnie, no one would believe they're friends. No one would believe they'd be friends. Fewer still would tolerate it. But as each woman finds the courage to cross boundaries, they come to depend and rely upon each other. Each is in search of a truth, and together they have an extraordinary story to tell. This was published in 2009. First line reads, May Mobley was born on an early Sunday morning in August 1960. Whoa. So we like Miss Skeeter, we hate Miss Hilly, and we're about Miss Leafold because she's not the most invested mother. We start off with Abilene, who, we start off with Abilene, who is raising, or who is the nanny to this little girl, May, I believe. What's her name? May? Or May Mo, yeah, May. And who, the daughter of Miss Leafold. And Miss Leafold is not the most invested mother, but yet seems to resent the fact that May is definitely more attached to Abilene than she is to her own mother, because her own mother is not great. And so Miss Leafold and Miss Hillian, they all sort of get together every Wednesday or every month on a Wednesday to play bridge, and the they're talking, and they start talking about the help, and Miss Hilly wants to put in an initiative where the help have their own bathroom quarters, like that they have to use a separate bathroom than the people in the house. And she's doing this and having this conversation while Abilene is like right there, and like the maids and stuff, they're right there, and they're of course basically ignoring them but talking about them and this horrible idea that this woman has. And I really like it so far. I really, really like it so far. So far, unless this last one is a dud, I think all of these books are going back on my TBR, which is not the point of this exercise. This point of the exercise is to get this shorter so that we have, I mean, there's ones like, there's piles like in front of it, and then we have like that over there, and then that over there. The point is to get these down, but so far we're got some good ones on here. And now for our last book, we have A Midwinter Promise by Lulu Taylor. And let's read the back blurb. A lonely and imaginative child, Julia loves her family's beautiful and wild Cornish home, Tare, with all her heart. But marked by her family's dark troubles, Julia enters her adult years determined to leave and seek a new beginning in London. It's there she meets the handsome David Pengelly. They fall in love, but when Julia becomes pregnant, even he can't stop the terrible echoes of the past from ringing in her ears. The only sound to be heard above the noise is the old Cornish house calling her home. For Julia's adult children, Alex and Johnny Pengelly, Tare hides the history of their family within its walls. For Alex, the house is full of memories of her late mother. For Johnny, it's the house that should have been rightfully theirs after Julia died, but has been stolen from them instead. Their stepmother Sally wanted it gone, and so Tare was lost. With their father now lying in a hospital bed, time is running out for Alex and Johnny to uncover the secrets of what happened to their mother all those years ago. Can they discover the truth before Tare closes its doors to them forever? Ooh, it's a few other books of hers that she has, and I really like all the covers. They're very, very pretty. This cover itself is really pretty. She's got quite the backlist, as we see from the covers here. Published in 2019, so not that long ago. The first line reads, I have a feeling this one's going to go back too, just from the first line. It's there in the darkness. Well, that's officially the first line, but it's there in the darkness, her secret, her unmentionable. Oh, wow. That was the prologue is really short, but already I'm like, yep, this is going back. It's so short that I'm going to read you the prologue. It's just a couple of paragraphs. Okay, the first line, it's there in the darkness, her secret, her unmentionable. I must be wicked, I must be terrible, I must be evil. There's no other explanation. How else could she keep this awful, awful secret? And it's sort of like, the format is like, she's talking to herself, and it's like, she's thinking. So the I and the her, they're the same person. She could take her secret out into the night when there is nobody about. She could take it down to the boathouse where the old skiff lies rotting. She could untie the skiff, climb in, and push it out so that it floats silently into the middle of the lake. And then at the deepest point, where she knows thick and tangling weed lies like an underwater jungle beneath her, ready to snare her and hold her down, she could take herself over the edge, and the secret would go with her. Then at last I would be free. But right now she's afraid. She's too weak. The secret will kill her somehow. That is the only thing she knows for sure. That is the prologue, y'all. So this is definitely going back. So, 4 winners. We have 4 winners in this episode. They are all going back. We have Her Mother's Daughter by Marilyn French going back. The Help by Catherine Stockett going back. Judith Gould's Till the End of Time going back. And definitely A Midwinter Promise by Lulu Taylor going back. So, that is going to be it for this week's episode. That pile is not getting any smaller. but it just means I have fantastic books waiting for me to get to them and read and enjoy and review here for you all. So, yay! So that's going to be it for this week's video. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you can see when I get the next episode up of Speed Dating My TBR. And if you're subscribed, definitely check out the previous episodes, 1 to 5. Yeah, and so I will talk to you guys. Forgot to do my follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!